Welcome back to What's Printing. Today I've pulled up the page for the Bambu X2D from Bambu Labs. We're going to take a minute to go through all of this together and see, after 1 month with my X2D, what do I think about all the marking material? Is what Bambu is saying the printer will deliver is what it's delivering? Well, let's take a look. Let's scroll down so you can see right away. I've never printed something quite like this yet, but here we go. Dual nozzle. Material made simple. I think the dual nozzle is the primary reason that people are getting this printer, and I think it's one of the primary reasons you should consider getting this printer if you're debating this versus the P2S. Active heating, stronger parts. I've been printing PLA and PETG. I've not been using the active heating, so I'm not going to talk about that. Dual intake cooling, crisp details. I have been using the strong cooling mode with PLA and PETG, and I would say I'm getting some crisp details. Here is a benchy in one of the pink filaments that I have, and I'd say, yeah, I'm getting some crisp details. Servo extruder, smooth surfaces at full speed. Watching the printer move, that thing does get going. I haven't used the ludicrous mode, the 166% mode. I've just been doing 100%, and at times that printer is moving and it is shaking, yet you are still getting good detail like this out of the printer. Adaptive calibration, lasting precision. I'm 1 month in. I'd say that the precision is looking good to me. We'll see. AI monitoring, your built-in backup. Here's where I'm going to think, my first thing where I see this, your built-in backup. Last night, I was printing this. This is a custom part that was designed by a family member that was asked to print. It told me when it was about here, it paused the print. It was like real late. Thankfully, I was still in here with it. It said, the print is spaghettiing. It didn't say it in that way. The print has no spaghetti. There was no spaghetti anywhere. My AI companion, my AI monitoring failed me on that one. I've also had several times where the printer has told me, hey, I'm having issues with friction on the AMS, the external extruder. I've told it to push through, and it has. I don't know if that counts as the AI monitoring, but every time the printer's given me a warning about print quality or something going wrong, I've told it to push through, and it has. So, I mean, it's a good and a bad thing, right? It paused the print. Thankfully, I was watching it, and I was there to click go again. But I have gotten good prints out of it, so there's that. Emission certified, designed for your home. This is one of the primary reasons I chose to buy the Bambu X2D. Specifically, is UL 2904 certified. What does that mean? Bambu took this printer and certified it with the basic PLA and basic PETG. What do? They printed a couple test prints, did a monitoring around it during those test prints, and saw how much VOCs, volatile organic compounds, and how much there was in this fine particles being emitted. They met the standards called out by UL 2904. So there you go. You get a printer that is designed, quote unquote, to be in your home. So to me, that's one of the main reasons that I think that the X2D is a really good choice. A lot of people I think are going to it for the dual extrusion, the two heads. My first reason to really up for this was that I got both the HEPA filtering and the carbon filtering, where you only get the carbon filtering on the P2S. All right, I have never printed something like this on the printer. I've not printed my mech suit yet, but maybe we'll get to that. Maybe I'll start flying around. We'll continue on here. So, dual nozzles, supports that peel away effortlessly, leaving a silky smooth finish every time. So here's the only print I have around that has support sitting on it. This was kind of a joke piece. This was called a support benchy. Well, let's see. Are these supports peeling away effortlessly? Here's a couple of them that have, I mean, this one, they were not meant to peel away. When I've had supports printed in PLA on PLA parts that were more geometric, they peeled away great. I printed a Black Panther figurine. I think it was probably an AI generated profile. And I decided to print the Black Panther figurine itself in black PLA, and I printed the supports in gray PETG. They ended up surrounding him like it was like a collar around the print, and it was very difficult to remove. So yes and no, and maybe that second one is really my fault. Really, the supports have been pretty easy to peel away. I mean, here's some supports that I had on another print that took quite a bit of time for me to remove, but that's because of, I think, really the profile that I was printing. It was hard to get to where those were. In general, when I've been removing supports that were PLA supports on PLA parts, they really have been pretty easy to remove. Smarter software, precise results, print after print. Sure, I think that's what we got going on. I mean, I think that's what the Bambu is doing well, is especially just out of the box, using even Bambu Handy right on your phone, you can really get some cool prints going, and it takes minimal effort. Sure, one ecosystem from idea to object in hand, all within a few taps. Sure, I just talked about that. You can do that right there on the app, and that'll do it for you. Let's see what else. This is the Bambu experience. All right, let's see what else comes up. Maker World, start with the best design. Best design from the best designers, right? So this is what I was just talking about. I have not printed anything like this or this. I mean, I've seen this one. It looks really cool. Some of these I think are free. Some of them are paid. So there you go. So every model you want, it's on Maker World. I would agree. There is so much on Maker World. I keep going in and saving things to different collections that I've created in Bambu Handy, and I have plenty of things to print if I so choose. So there you go. There's plenty for you to go print. Tap, print, done, only with Bambu. Well, I'm sure there's lots of people that tell you can do it with lots of other printers. You can get things to print well, but yeah, their ecosystem, if you like their closed ecosystem, it works. And I think for those of us who are new to the hobby here in 2026, I think it's a great way to jump in. Maybe you're a little bit boxed in, but you actually have an ecosystem that you're in that is in a way controlled. It's been really easy for me to get in. So phone to printer in 3 taps. I think that's how many taps it takes. I mean, sure, I probably did more to find it and all this, but I see what they mean. Yeah, it's pretty easy. Let's see what else comes up. Great prints don't come from random profiles. So well-tuned profiles help overhang hold, corners stay sharp, and bridges land clean. Sure. Like I said, that Black Panther print I made, I actually custom edited it in Bambu Studio, so maybe that wasn't the fault of the profile. Maybe that was on me. Sure. So they're talking about cooling speed, support, and retraction. You know, on the retraction subject, you know, I have seen very slight, I don't know if I can see any on this one, when I've been printing some benchies, even on the main head, very slight stringing. I can see one right here. You're not going to see it on the video. It's just this tiny little string going across. So maybe there's a retraction issue there, very minor, to the point where you can't see it and I can barely see it when I look in person. So there we go. Detail wins. So when I look at this benchy or this one, I'd say, yeah, the fine detail that this printer is printing is pretty good. You know, there are times where I've had a failure like this one. So this print failed and it knocked over, and this was actually detected, or rather wasn't detected by the AI. So this should be, about that much taller. It's a descant box that was meant to go right there in the center. This knocked over in the back, and the AI did not catch it, and there was spaghetti. But it was in the back, so I don't know how the camera would have seen that one. So there you go. Dual nozzle system. Stop overthinking with support. Start peeling it off clean. So I do think the dual nozzle does a great job with supports. Another thing the dual nozzle does, when you see it there, is this is one of the profiles they put on the printer for you, this Panda. And this is one that you can print right away. As soon as you get the printer, put, I think it was the black on the external and the white on the internal. Really, when you look at this, the quality is really good. And this is PLA on both the external and the internal, rather the external spool and the AMS. And I think the quality on that is really superior. And I think that second auxiliary extruder with the Bowden extruder is doing a great job. All right, they're talking about material saved and print time saved. I haven't printed this thing, so sure, maybe it's true. They're showing some supports melting away. TPU sneaker, I've done no TPU printing, so I won't comment on that. Hunting bow riser, I haven't printed that. So just showing you some of the things they think you can print. So dual nozzle applications. We're going to continue on. Swap colors in a snap. So I do want to talk about swapping colors and show you, for example, here's a print that swapped a lot of colors and didn't use a lot of waste. So this is a hue forge. This was a default profile. So this was black, then it was orange, then it was yellow, then it was white. Hue forges are built in such a way that you swap one time between colors, so you're only going to get a very minor amount of the poops, right? You're only going to get 4 or 5 for a print like this. It takes a little bit of time every swap, but in this case, there wasn't really that much swapping to be done, and I think the printer does a great job at that. If you are going to print something where it's going to be swapping a lot, see if I can find it. Here we are. So I did another video on this, printed some benches that were Minion themed. This is when I printed it all via the AMS and made it really a blunder. That was a bad decision. This is one print worth of poops and all that. When I changed it up and changed up other things other than just using the external extruder, changed the profile a bit, but I was able to get down to this. So a lot of this reduction is by using the bone extruder with the external spool. So I really do think you are getting a good benefit by having that as well. So I think that, again, is one of the main reasons people are considering this printer. Printing performance, finer, sharper, true to the design. The lightest dual nozzle system ever for the finest finish. So I think this is one of their selling points, is that you don't have 2 direct drives. You're using a Bowden and it's lighter and you get the speed and all that. So sure, it seems to be working to me. Let's see what else they got in here. I'm going to continue on. They're talking about inertia, vibration, sure. The right temperature at the right time so details stay sharp. So they're going to talk about the cooling. So it's got what they think their cooling is like and what typical cooling is like. And then they're probably going to talk about heating. Again, I've used none of the more fancy materials that I'm going to use special heating. I mean, the bed is being heated for these prints, but nothing where it's actually heating internally like it's showing here on the screen. Snap and fit every part true to the design. Pulls it around, edges align, parts click together with a well-made kit. So I have had several parts that were assemblable. Here's one right here where I made, this is the trucks for it's like a wooden train thing. So here's the body. So this would go under like this. And yeah, these parts fit together great. I mean, if I was actually to give this to a child, I would want to really glue that and a magnet cement to go here. And, you know, it would make me wonder, should I be giving this to a little child? But the parts did fit together well and they printed well. So yeah. Vision encoder, precision that doesn't drift. So there is a vision encoding plate that you can buy that they're showing here. I think it's $70. So you don't just get that out of the box, but it does have the ability to do it if you decide to spend more money. So yeah, you can do this. It's just not free. It doesn't come with the printer. Bambu algorithms. Calibrations adapts to wear material changes. Maybe. I don't know. They say it does. Okay. So they're showing you what they think theirs versus other printers will do. Talking about the servo system. Smoother surfaces start inside the extruder. So they're showing a blown up view of the extruder. Sure. Smooth surface quality finish. So here is a print. We can try to look at it in addition to theirs. It's a little hard to see, but you don't see all the layer lines. And yeah, sure, it looks like what's on the left. Maybe what's on the right is true. I don't have another printer to compare against because this is my first printer, but there you go. Compensations makes corners sharper and details cleaner. Okay, they say they're doing active vibration compensation. Sounds good to me. Putting your print on autopilot. AI camera keeps an eye on your prints. All right, so I think a lot of us will be printing when we're not right in front of the printer. So we're letting this camera and this tooling system do that. Again, like I said, this print told me at about this high that it thought there was spaghetti being formed. There was none. It paused the print. If I had decided that I was not going to be paying attention to my phone while I was away from this or something like that, this print would have stopped there and maybe I could have resumed it much later, but the AI caught something that wasn't even there. So maybe I have my settings too high, too sensitive. Maybe Bambu has them too sensitive. So far, They haven't got something that's real for me with the AI that said, oh, that stopped it. I'm so thankful it did. So I haven't experienced that. I'm sure others have, but that's where I'm at. Fully equipped sensors cover every critical stage. So it says that's 31 sensors span the entire system. Sure, they're doing filament path monitoring, thermal control. I have noticed that the temperatures really do, when you see what it's aiming for and what the temperatures is at, say it's going to 220 for the head or 55 for the bed plate, it really does get to that temperature and pretty much stick there, maybe go down 1 degree or up 1 degree. But the control does seem really good on the thermal control. Now, are they filtering out little bits of changes up and down that I don't know? Maybe. I don't perceive that's what's happening, but it seems to have really good control of the temperature. Clean air always. So again, here's the 3-stage filtering I was talking about. So it has a pre-filter, it has a HEPA and carbon filter. So for me, that was one of the really big selling points for the X2D, and a reason I think you should consider, if you're looking at the P2S, going with an X2D, not just the dual nozzle, but also the filtering. So there's the UL 2904 certified, and then tool-free nozzle swaps. I have not swapped out my nozzle yet, so I won't comment on it. A printer that updates like your phone. So major firmware updates roughly every 3 months. Well, we'll see. Printers hasn't been out that long. So they're saying here's some of the things they're going to talk about updating. So then you can compare to the other printers. We won't spend time doing that. And now we're back to the very bottom and all of their extra text. That takes us to the end of the page. So what do I think after a month with my X2D? Would I buy it again at the price tag and all of that, knowing all that I know now? I really do think that for a new user, the X2D is something that you should really consider if you're in this price range. I think going from a single nozzle with the P2S to a dual nozzle with the X2D is really a primary main benefit that you should consider that, yeah, I really should get the X2D. I think that alone can take you there. I think adding in the UL 2904 for PETG, which is above what the P2S can do with just basic PLA and matte PLA, is another big reason to consider the X2D over that. If you are going to be doing more of the engineering grade filaments, the active chamber heating is great. Again, I haven't used that yet. So I really do think if you're coming into this for the first time or you're looking for your umpteenth printer, I do think the X2D is a good value for your money, and I would recommend it. And that's what's printing. If this has been helpful to you, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you.